Yes, there we go. Drum nerds, how you doing? Welcome to another installment of Linear Fill Deliciousness, I guess I could say. So, not sure why the sun's coming in so brightly, but hey, the sun's up, I'm up, you're up because you're watching this. It's all golden. It's all benefits from here on out. So, before I go any further, I would just like to say at the starting of this video, at the recording time of this, I have a family, a drum nerd family, 329 members big. That is incredible to me. I genuinely can say this, hand on heart. I never thought I would get to 329. That's not to be negative or pessimistic. You just don't fathom these things, as, when you're starting out. So, loads more to grow, and I can't wait for everybody that joins to join. But thank you so much to all the people that have come out and started supporting this. So, I will timestamp this so you can see where the chapters are and scrub along this. But I just wanted to say thank you genuinely for everybody for joining in and becoming a part of the community, watching my live lessons, and just reaching out and having conversation. I've learned a lot from some of you, and I hope you've learned in turn from me. But it's been great. It's been a great journey, and I can't wait to keep going. So we are working again. If you're not familiar with linear, no two limbs are hitting at the same time. That goes for hands, that goes for feet. And so on my sheet, I've got loads of them, loads of concepts, so there's going to be lots of this coming in the future. But it started as a 5-5-6. I've taken the 6 and put it in the middle. So it's a 5-6-5 grouping, total of 16. No two limbs are hitting at the same time. So let's get behind the kit, and I'll show you first, and then we can break it down with exactly what's happening there. Now that last bit, ignore, that was a nice little conclusion. That's not linear, obviously. So that's what it sounds like, probably a load of jumble getting thrown your way. But really, all I'm doing is I'm taking the first grouping of 5, and that's just right, left, foot. I'm going from snare to high tom. I play as a 4-piece, this is my ride in my head. For you watching, you might have this as a designated tom, but all I'm doing is snare to rack tom. So right, left, kick. So just run that. Pause the video here. Don't go any further. Right, left, kick. Right? Now if you're a lefty, I will always give the caveat. You're starting with your left hand. And this will still be the same trajectory. You'll probably, well, your tom might be over here, but you might still have it here. Your floor tom will be there though. So again, right, left, kick. Snare, tom, kick. That's what we're working with to start this. We then go into that 6, and the 6 is again 4 notes on the hand, but we're taking 2 on the bass drum. And this is, I think they call it a bucket of sugar honey iced tea, because it's kind of what it sounds like, right? Phonetically. But all you're doing is right, left. So snare, rack, floor, kick, right? Snare, tom, floor, kick. Snare, tom, floor, kick. Just run that as it is. Okay? So that's how that goes out. The next 5 is slightly different from the first in that we're breaking it across in the similar fashion as we just did with the 6, but we're only going to play 1 kick. So the last 2 groupings, the 6 and the 5, stay the same mechanics, except you'll do 2 kicks on the 6, you only do the 1 kick to make it 5 at the end. So the last group of 5 is snare, tom, floor, kick. So run those individually, and then when you feel comfortable and confident, and you've got the muscle memory, you just put them together. And that's what you go. Linear fill, concept number 3. Boom, mind blown. I'm gonna come away from this kit. So that's it. You don't have to keep watching. Video's done. 4.5 minutes. You're welcome. But really, I'm going to use this time now. So hopefully you run that. Hopefully you've print screened the screen printed or captured the still image. That's what I'd like to apologize for. I've kind of developed some editing skills. They're very very primitive. So I want to have that line of notation across the bottom, and I kind of know how to do it, but I just can't execute it yet. If anybody has any ideas, please teach me. I'm happy to learn. But so I hope you're okay with the JPEG, single image kind of halfway through these videos of the notation. I leave it up for, I've set it to 10 seconds, so you've got more than enough time to screen grab that and then kind of run it as it is. I will say the stave on those notations, you're looking at so drums don't have standardized notation, at least they don't at the time of this recording. And I don't think they ever have, and I don't suggest they will, because so many people do things differently. There's things that people take as kind of a rough standard, but then people have their own unique nuances on how they might notate a cymbal or a closed hi-hat or an open hi-hat. But roughly speaking, the snare drum and the toms, those will live in a pretty standardized place on the stave. So when you see this notation, I'll try and edit it maybe so that I can put some words in there. I'll see. I can't guarantee anything, but the bottom line, what would be face, what would be the F in a normal treble clef, that F is the bass drum, and then above that by one, if I'm not mistaken, is the floor tom. One above that is the snare drum, and then you've got the rack tom on the top, which would be the E. That's kind of how it's structured, and I only play as a 4-piece, so those are the ones that I work with. So you should be able to navigate it that way, but I'll just put some arrows if I can figure it out to indicate what's what. But the lowest on the stave will always be the bass drum. The next above that will always be the floor tom. One above that will be, for me, will be the snare, and then above that will be the rack tom. So that's kind of how you'll be able to gauge where they are, so you can still figure it out. Now, those obviously come out, and this is the last thing I want to say so that there's a bit of differentiation and some understanding about what's going on here. That came out very guerrilla-esque in that it's all accent. There's absolutely no dynamic suave to that. It's very, very basic. It's very, very caveman. It's very much hit, 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 accent, accent. And that's fine in certain settings. There's nothing wrong with that. But you might be asking yourself, what separates people from other players, For example, what would separate me from Mike Johnston, other than the fact that Mike Johnston isn't even playing the same sport as me, because he's not even out of my league, he's out of my sport, and I'm okay to say that. It's a journey. I respect the man wholeheartedly, and he's one of the absolute top level drummers, right? He's incredible, and his dynamic control is fantastic. And so the thing that separates players, really, other than some time and feel and stuff, but it would be the ability to take some of those notes and put some dynamic range in there. So not always just going at 100, right? That's a skill in itself, and it's very tricky. But all I want you to do is get the mechanics, get the stick, and get the muscle memory. And then as you progress, as you work on it, as you practice, you'll be able to feel where the dynamic ranges can go. You'll be able to feel what might want to be an accent and what might want to be a grace note. And so that's a journey that I don't even know has an end. That I've been working on dynamics a lot, and you get to a level and you can do it in certain things, but some things that are new to you, it's like you've never learned how to do dynamics at all. It's really a humbling experience, and it's great because you might be able to do dynamic control, but then you do something different, you do a different beat that you've not familiarized yourself with, and it's almost like you've never been able to do anything dynamically. So stick with it. It is something that takes time, and it's a wonderfully fun journey, and I'm along it just as you are, just as Mike Johnston is. Everybody's on the same journey. Some of us are just a little bit farther down the path, but that's nothing to be worried about. So there you go. I've extended it. So you got your drum lesson. That's the linear fill concept. Again, thank you for joining this family. I never thought I'd have a 329 large family, and I love that I have that. I don't have that. We have that. That's not me. This is us. This is in us, okay? And I'm really happy and grateful for that. So thank you for checking this out. Be safe wherever you are in the world, and until next time, keep your stick on the ice.